God, the sweet sound of recording from the old man. What's up, everybody? It's MC on the mic, also known as Matt, and there's my brother on the other side.
The Tico Fantasy Show. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Tyler Cohen here at your service.
Now, you just glitched on my computer. Is that a problem for us?
I don't
Why
know.
are
Am
we?
I still am I still glitching?
No, you look beautiful and lovely and well lit, and
Okay.
you sound like a songstress of sorts.
Yeehaw!
All
It's a
right.
song I'll show
Well,
you.
look, we're the Cobros and we're here to talk about all sorts of shit, and we don't care what you think about it. Yes, we do actually. We want to start with AI because we were just getting in a conversation off camera about the massive change in AI, or it's bringing to production and entertainment, how terrifying it is, and how also exciting it is for like a guy like me. I'm really torn. I have to say, I'm really torn because as an actor who specializes in evoking emotion from people, and I need emotion evoked from me from another person. In my mind, I can only work with human beings. I can't work with a robot. I can't work with AI. But on the other side of that, AI is inevitable. We're not going to be able to shut it off. We're not going to be able to slow it down. It's going to be the next empire of, financial investment and building businesses and startups and blah, 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 so on and so forth. It's already there. But for a guy like me who's doing a podcast all by himself, like my brother across the country who's doing a
Yep.
podcast all by himself, from writing to editing to hosting to producing to directing to lighting to sound engineering design, there are now, I've been told, applications that literally do all that for you. And while we're both sit here and we're kind of elated, like, oh, wow, that's great. Is it great or is it bad? Because all of my favorite people in the entertainment industry happen to be in post production. And that is because no matter what you shoot on set or in your camera or on the day, a good post production team is absolutely, there's no amount of money that's too
Necessity.
too much. They could make a bad project good. Do you agree with me? What's your take? I'm scared
That
and excited. What does a 21-year-old think about it?
So what you were saying before with editing and post production and everybody working behind the scenes, that's the most important people, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Acting is important, directing is important, all of that is important, but the people who actually sit there and edit, the sound design, the lighting, the people working the cameras, all of these people are the people who make the project, especially the editor. I think the editor is probably the most important thing for any project there is. But you see, AI is trying to, step in there and take that role, which, they're starting to figure it out a little bit. Like, you could throw a video here and you could get some clips out of it for social media or whatever. But AI is not quite to the point yet where it's doing what an editor can do, because you still have that human aspect of an editor where they're using their creativity to come up with different ideas on how it should look.
And therein lies the problem, because AI is being trained by the internet and by all the people that are smart and creative and use their mind to create the most amazing things, from scores to, fast edits to slow edits, evoking all this emotion from your project. So, what do we do? How do we pause AI? Like, can we stop AI where it is? I don't think we can, but I'd like to just be like, hey, AI is like an assistant that you got to get pissed off at like 6, 7 times a day because you're like, why'd you do that? That wasn't the thing. For example, I won't name the AI that I'm using, but I'm using an AI software because I needed to speed read something the other day. I had 175 pages to read and I had about an hour to do it. So I reached out to an AI professional who I know. Shout out to Ben Silverman. He'll be on the podcast next week, hopefully. And he turned me on to something that you can upload your document and then it will read it back to you in several different voices. I picked Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't
Huh.
know if it was dead on or
She got a
not,
good
but it
reading
was
voice.
it was lovely to have a now, and then you can adjust the speed on it, right? So I took it from normal speed, like as you can do on like a Netflix, or if you're screening a movie here or there, you can speed it up on YouTube. And so I sped it up to 3.5 times, and I read 175 pages in 48 minutes, or was read to, but I kind of was following along. I felt that it was productive. I felt that what it did take away from me being read to and trying to follow along was it took away my ability to stop and pause and go, okay, how do I see that moment in time or whatever the thing is that I'm reading? How can I
Yeah.
really imagine it? So again, I'm like torn
Hard
of
to
like,
retain all that.
the entertainment industry, it's AI is gonna be with us. We got to figure out how to cohabitate. I think that's a
Co
word. Together. I
I have to
may
get
have
my I'm gonna
just
have to get
made
my
that up.
dictionary out on that one. Cohabitate?
Don't
Cohabit
enter that one in your Scrabble board this week, folks.
cohabitate.
Um, so I don't know. I don't know where it is and where it's going, but it's man, it is wild. And the arguments on both sides, it's a very tribal argument from the groups of people that I roll with and that are lifetime performers, lifetime directors, lifetime entertainers. And I don't mean on Lifetime Network. I mean their whole life they've spent entertaining people. They're terrified. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if we briefly talked about it, but Tyler Perry paused an $800 million investment in his to expand his studio strictly based on the fact, so he says in the press, strictly based on the fact that he's worried about AI and how could he make an $800 million expansion when AI is going to wipe out all the job, and
Yeah.
I get it. So I'm
It's even
terrified, but I'm also excited.
I have a lot of friends. So when I was in high school, that's what I did. All 4 years I was in high school, I did film, and a lot of the guys and girls I was in school with at the time are now going to college for that, where they're learning editing and they're doing different camera work and all of this. And it's starting to get to the point where it's like you're paying $100,000 for a degree to do something that a robot is going to do your job in a couple of years. So it's like,
But I'll tell you this. So there's something to be said for some people who are not completely self-motivated to just go away to an establishment, whether it be a college or a technical school or whatever, and then they learn how to learn and be a human by themselves. Now,
yeah,
you were a guy, you were able to take a unique path through your kind of college education as well as being so talented as a filmmaker and a guy on camera and a guy that grasped everything that was going on now that you said, I need to be working right now and I'm gonna, and you have been successfully while also continuing your education. Not everybody can do that. So some people
yeah.
have to literally force themselves out of the cradle of their parents and their silver spoon or their, rusty old spoon, whatever it is, but some people need to go figure it out. I was one of those guys. I failed out of college after 3 years. But what I learned in those 3 years was how to figure out how to be on my own, how to do it by myself. Now, you're a guy, you've been independent for a long time. You're far more advanced at your age than I was. I was a Neanderthal at your age. I'm literally kind of still one, but then I was definitely one. I was like, I want food. I want drink. I didn't know what I was doing. Um,
Typical college guy, typical
yeah,
guy.
I really
Good
was.
dude.
I was a typical college guy, and college has changed, and university life has changed so much. What's your take on university? This is a good conversation for us to get in.
As in as in going or what
No,
what
I
aspect?
don't. I don't really care about going. I think some people want to go, some people don't. I don't think the traditional path of like everybody needs a college education to work in real life that is gone. So
Yeah.
my question is it a way? And I don't wanna God, I don't wanna give any young people out there the wrong message here. I'm not saying don't attend a university or college. I would never say that. But but also maybe just really think about it from some other perspective, perhaps Tico Fantasy Show's perspective, as he's wildly successful, thriving on his own in his own way, literally putting himself and making his own curriculum, how you study and learn. And I'm impressed by it and I'm inspired by
Thank you.
it. But what's your take on university, like going away for 4 years, stopping progress to do an extra 4 years of school? Now, obviously, if you're gonna be a doctor or a lawyer,
Yeah, yeah,
you have to learn some
yeah.
stuff, right? You gotta open the medical book, you gotta do those things. But for everybody else, what's your take? You got a bunch of buddies that are away in
Yeah,
school.
all my friends, I don't have any friends. Well, I have a few that didn't go to college, but not
I'm your
many.
friend. I'm your friend. You
You
said,
went
"I
to
don't have any friends."
college. You went to college. I have a lot of friends who went to college. I have a lot of friends who didn't go to college, but here's my opinion on it. I think if when I'm older, when I'm an adult, when I have kids, I want my kids to go to college, because my opinion
But
is
is that
that
because
I
your
think
dad wanted you and your sister and me to go to college
no,
so bad?
no, I don't. No, it has nothing to do with it. My
Okay.
opinion on it is that I think college is an extension of your childhood. I know at the same time you
Agreed.
get to you get to go out there and live on your own, but at the same time, a lot of people have their parents paying for their school, and they have their parents paying for their rent, and some parents, they have parents paying for their food. And yeah, maybe you're going to go out there and get a job, which is good. You should do that, but it's not real life. It's not 100% real life. You're not completely out there by yourself. You're not paying bills. You're not figuring out like how much money you need to make for the month to, feed your children and do this and do that. You're not thinking about any of that. You're just in college. All you're worrying about is yourself. So I think it's a good time. I
Interesting.
think it's a great transitional period that every person needs. Not every person, obviously. Some people like me, I wanted to jump out there and get into the real world. And the real world's a scary place, but I wanted to jump right into it because I felt that, I felt that I could do it. And, so far, so good.
Yeah, and the thing is, I agree. I first of all, what what a handful, what a basket full of wisdom you just delivered from your young soul and heart. I think that's
Old
beautiful and
soul.
it's very well said. And you're obviously an educated young person, because for you to understand that college really is an extension of high school, it's this plateaued period of where you're going to become a kid being having dinner made for him every night to a
It's a
kid who.
transitional period.
Yes, and it's weird that you recognize that so well. You know, some kids, some young people, not kids, but some young people are forced into a situation where they are taking care of their parents, taking care of their household through high school, right? They got a
Yeah.
mom and a dad that really need the help, or they're struggling, or there's a poverty situation and whatever. So they've become more aware of the difficulties of the real world. But for those of that haven't, right? The kids that really it was very easy for them, college may be necessary as a padding into real life. But in the same idea that it's a padding into real life, this could be old guy Matt talking, but does an 18 to a 21-year-old really need more padding at that age, or do they need more heavy reality, which is you're 18, you can go to war, you're,
Do
you know,
anything almost.
yeah, you can do it, you can't rent a car for some reason,
And
you
you
know.
can't buy alcohol.
You can't buy alcohol, but you could go to war. I understand the not buying alcohol.
You
Honestly,
can't vote.
when you can vote,
No, you can vote. You can vote at 18. My
yeah,
bad.
yeah, you can vote at 18. The wild thing to me is when you kind of sit about all the things you can and can't do between 18 and 21, and then you say you can drive a car at 16, literally a missile with a pedal that you control how fast it goes. You can
Scary.
drive that, which is crazy. Because I know people my age that should not be allowed to drive. At 35 to 40, I know people that should not be allowed on the road. They literally will drive, and I'm one of them, and have a full conversation with the person not looking at the rear view. And every time my wife gets in the car, she wants to divorce me because she gets out and has to basically do a breath work exercise to get herself out of the anxiety attack that I just put her in. And I
That's
feel
dad.
horrible about it,
Dad
but
did that to you, man. Dad did that
it
to
broke
you.
me.
Y'all love driving like that.
I'm trying not to. What's there's a term I just heard. It's called unconscious death wish behavior. It's an actual thing, and I heard it from Kevin Smith. I don't know if you know Jay and Silent Bob, but Silent Bob, his name's Kevin Smith, and he's a great director in town. And he was talking not recently, but like a year ago, I think I interviewed him or something. And he talked about that he had an issue. I think it was him. God, I'm sorry, Kevin Smith, if I'm talking about somebody else. But there was this thing called unconscious death wish behavior, where literally you're so wound up in life that you do things so erratically, so pedal to the metal, that you ride the line of like, am I trying to kill myself or off myself today, or or am I trying to see how close I can get? And it's
Yeah.
unconscious. You just are made of that because you've lived so many traumatic ups and downs in your life. And I'm certain I have it, and I'm diagnosing myself as a not bro doctor.
Self-diagnosis. But I'm not. I try to drive the speed limit. I'm a really safe driver.
I believe that.
Yeah.
The way you just sit across from me at 21 years old and make me feel like I have so much growing up to do at 41 years old, I'm pissed off. Like, I look at you and I'm like, he's dialed in. This young man is dialed in. He's great at holding a conversation. He hosts the shit out of these shows. And
I'm just
and
a
I'm
I'm just an old dude in a young man's body. That's all.
Now, you're the next generation of dude is what you are. The whole world needs to take the effing note at what an 18 to 25-year-old should be. It should be a little more like you, driven to get stuff done, driven to make a name for himself and have a profession that he believes in, that he enjoys, that he can make lucrative for himself, all while maintaining the highest level of education and being a good person, right? You're
Yeah.
focused
It's the
on
most
a
important.
you're focused on right, The Rock says that thing, and I told it to Macklin last night. It's so nice to be important. It's so much more important to be nice. It
Yeah.
is the the goal and it should be your only goal in life in whatever you do is to just be a nice person, help the person in front of you, help the person to the sides, help the person in back of you. That's it. If you can reach them, help them. And
We
you
need
just
more
have
of
that,
that.
man. You got
We
it's
need more of that
beautiful.
in this world. We need more of that. That's what keeps the world going around. That's what keeps like the good in place and not the bad. We need people who are willing to, go the extra mile.
Yeah, and you gotta lead by example, and the only way to do it is to show people firsthand, "Hey, look what I'm doing. You can do this too. You can be kind, you can be generous, and we can all feel better about it." Because really, it's very selfish. I had this talk with my buddy Noah. I said, "Man, I keep reaching out to people, and I need to help them because it's the only thing that makes me feel good." He goes, "Stop, stop, 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 stop. You need to feel good for you. You need to like yourself a little more
Yeah.
so you can help those people." And I was like, Jesus, that's some deep work I need to get into because he's right. He's right. I am, you get discontent with yourself at certain times in your career, especially as an entertainer. We work, we don't work, we work, we don't work. I've worked consistently for the last 9 years, and now I'm not working. I'm working, but I'm not like going to an establishment where I have
Yeah.
to be there every day, all night, shooting, filming, recording. And so you get down on yourself and you're like, oh man, I don't have it anymore. Can I do this? You feeling like a washed up aging boxer, or an aging athlete where you're like, oh, should I, figure
Time
out
to
how
hang
to
the
go?
cleats up. Like, yeah.
Should I follow Jason Kelsey and start raising cattle? Like, what am I
Or be
doing?
a
And this
farmer.
dude, in the same way that he's looking for the next step, where at this age you're kind of all, he's not that much detached from me age wise. He's a little younger, but arguably a little older because of the way he's played in the NFL. His body's probably beat
Yeah.
just like mine. At his younger age, he's under 40, right?
It's got
37.
to be like 38,
Yeah,
37,
yeah, and I
36,
know
somewhere around there. But
Travis is a little younger, but
they're
anyways.
beat up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just look, I'm proud of you, and I don't know how I got on this tangent, but let's tangent to, now that we brought up Jason Kelsey, the big news, right? And I'll let you take it from here because educate us on what just
Jason
happened.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey retired today, officially retired. Everybody's been talking about it for a very long time about him possibly retiring, but today came out in front of the media, very sad. He's crying and thanking all of his old coaches, old teachers from school, old players, and everybody. And really sad day, but he's moving on. Bigger, better things in the future for him. He's getting old. It's time for him to hang up the cleats. He put in a good 13 seasons, and that was a tough 13 seasons on his body, and now he's done. On to
Does he
bigger,
Tom
better
Brady?
things.
Does he Tom Brady us?
What, come back?
Yeah.
Nah,
Is
nah, not
there an
Jason Kelsey.
opportunity? Is
He
there a
could,
position? Is there an opportunity? Could it ever happen? And now this is me and my wild, whimsical Matt Cohen making up dreams scenario. Is there a way to put those Travis wants to finish at Kansas City, correct?
probably,
There's
yeah.
no room on that roster for Jason Kelsey, right?
Jason Kelsey, there actually isn't. They have a very good center in Kansas
That's what I
City, like
thought.
very good. He's a young man, just drafted him like 2 years ago. Creed
Okay.
Humphrey, very
Okay.
good. But Jason Kelsey wouldn't do that even if there was a position. He is dedicated to that Philadelphia team. It's funny. It's a funny story. Andy Reid, the coach for the Chiefs now, used to be the coach for the Eagles, and he was the coach that drafted Jason Kelsey. So
What?
yeah, he was the coach that drafted Jason Kelsey. And he wasn't like an early draft pick either. He was a 6th round pick who I just figured out today, literally while he was giving his speech. Jason Kelsey plays center now. He was not always a center. He transferred to center like in the last couple games of playing in college. Before that, he was a linebacker for 3, 4 years, the rest of his entire career. And
Stop it.
Andy Reid took a huge chance on him in the draft and taking him as a center. And he goes on to be one of the best centers to ever play the sport.
What an amazing story and
I had no idea.
an amazing like allow life to happen to you. It'll line you up where you need to be. Shout out to Andy Reid, man. You are a special human being. We
Big
all have
Red.
always known it, but like when my brother throws these facts at me and educates me on a higher level, I understand his madness. And I've always watched Andy Reid, his quiet intensity, his loud intensity when he gets there. But you look in that man's face and it's diabolical. It's going on in all the right directions. It's twisting and turning. And
All the gears.
yeah, you can't understand it, but when you hear something like that, you completely understand it. This man has a football IQ higher than any football IQ. That's just is what it is. And he makes
Yeah.
it happen. And he can see he has great vision. And if you have great vision, you can see what needs to happen and you can put your pieces in the right order so that can unfold. That's just such an incredible story. But let's go back to Jason Kelsey for a second. I came up in the time where the Miami Dolphins had this linebacker that I love so much. He was a little bit loud and a little bit obnoxious, like a Ray Lewis type character, but kind of just before Ray Lewis. His name was Brian Cox. Now, Brian Cox would wear this, he would wear a flat
Big Nick.
board behind his
Yeah.
neck, like the flat board.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm just picturing right now a Jason Kelsey beard coming out with a flat board, and you're playing fullback, right? Like I played a little fullback at my junior varsity level, and you're coming through that line trying to clear out one of those linebackers, and there's Jason Kelsey beard and the headboard. What a scary
He
sight.
was he was 288 pounds
Oh,
playing
oh my
linebacker.
gosh.
288 pounds. That's what he said. 288. It's kind of crazy.
Bro, I would have put Jason Kelsey at fullback and took him right out of center. I mean,
Whew,
that's a beast.
whew. Jason Kelsey probably could have played any position. You throw him at wide receiver, man. Big boy wide receiver. Oh,
So, how long do we wait before ESPN makes Jason Kelsey one of the top guys? They
oh.
should give him a microphone and not make him wear a suit and not tie him down to the podium or the
Let him wear some
table where
shorts and flip flops.
and let him go. Give me a
Let him
camera.
cook.
I will chase him around with a steady camera. You'll make sure he's mic'd up,
I
and we
got
will
it.
take a live show at every game. He's the guy, whether it's Philly or Kansas City or any other team, and let's put him on. Let him be the guy in the stands, in the bleachers, in the locker room. He gets all access. We're his crew. We follow him around just because I want to be entertained by the guy. We shouldn't have to
No
wait for that,
shirt.
dude. Somebody should
I think
executive
I think I
produce that guy.
read I could be wrong, but I want to say I read that he's working on a deal with Amazon right now to do
Great.
the Thursday night games.
That's the minimum. Like, I mean, get him on TV. The dude is a heartfelt, authentic
You
guy. I don't
think?
know if you ever saw the documentary
No, I
about him,
still
but
haven't watched it.
it's so
Me
lovely.
too.
And you fall in love with his family. You fall in love with him. Obviously, everybody loves his brother and his lady because they're this beautiful Cinderella story. So we're all happy for them. But Jason is like the thumping heartbeat. And going right back to what you said about his love for Philadelphia, he bleeds that green, and that there is something to be said for a guy that's that dedicated to a city, a tough
Yeah.
city, a Philly city. You need more guys like that. He's going to inspire men to be better men. He's going to show all of us how we should be in life, and I just you can't help but appreciate a guy like that. And
You can't not love him.
for me, you look and you go, if you're not recognizing the shine of some of these younger people, Jason Kelsey, like you're messing up. Let's build these younger guys up like yourself and Jason, and allow that to infect the other dudes because it's going to make a better world. It's going to make a better world.
Yeah.
Let's shift to boxing for a second. There was
Let's
some
go.
boxing shenanigans this weekend. I know you were busy at the combine, and I want to talk a lot about the combine because I have a buddy who's
I
got
gotta
a
tell you some stories about that.
bro. He's got a stem cell company, and he was at the combine this weekend, and we've been
Is
talking
it
a lot about how stem cells are saving young athletes.
you did a podcast with him, correct?
We are going to do a
Okay, you
full
haven't.
podcast
Okay,
this coming week when I get back from this
sick.
job. But it's very exciting. But let's talk boxing real quick. Jake Paul is back in the boxing news, and I love it. You know, I'm a fan of the non-boxer YouTuber turned boxer. I love what he's doing, but I was extremely let down and embarrassed a little bit this weekend by what I saw, because what I saw was a very game Jake Paul. Now, Jake Paul didn't look like he dropped any weight. He actually looked like he put on some weight. He looked, he didn't look out of shape.
Big.
He looked like a
Dude
young
look
man that's been
big.
eating steaks every night, you know?
Yeah.
And he was across from this guy that I've never heard of in my life. Borland, I think his last name is. I
I
can
something like that. Something would it be?
But the man's physique, everything from his shoulders, ears, eyes, teeth, and toes, like the whole thing looked like a dude that never worked out a day in his life, let alone trained as a boxer. Now, I don't want to take anything away from those boxers out there that aren't blessed physically and actually can box, because I've had my ribs pounded in by dudes that looked like, they were a fat slob on the couch. And then I got in the ring with these guys, and their boxing IQ was so high that they whipped my booty.
Happens
But
all the time.
for Jake to come out and fight this guy and finish him in the first round, I don't know if the guy threw one single punch.
I I only saw the knockout. That's it.
That's,
And
I mean, that was the whole thing. If the entire fight highlights were only 1 minute, because it was only a 1 minute
that's
night.
it.
And
Yeah.
Jake is, while he is growing as a boxer, and I love him. I'm a supporter of Jake Paul and Logan. I love these guys. I love what they're doing.
WWE.
They're icons for young people to look at in an unorthodox way to make it huge and make your name known and do whatever you want. And they're both doing great things. But Jake, we got to get you an opponent, bro. We need to see you struggle. I want to see you box. I saw you feint jab, pop with a hook, and lay the right hand. You're boxing great. Don't box this guy. Don't give that guy the opportunity. I'll take the opportunity. Why
Let me
not
ask you a
box me?
question. Let me ask you a question.
Huh.
So I'm not very involved with the boxing community, obviously. I
Sure.
don't know a lot about it, but let me ask you, as from you're a boxing expert, I'd say. Um, what does the boxing community think about that? Like him fighting opponents that aren't like on the same level as him. They can't have much respect for that, right?
I was surprised. I was very excited to see him fight the MMA guys that he fought in Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva and the other dude he knocked out. Like, these fights, those are dangerous, very dangerous fighters, even though they're not boxers. They've been hit. They understand how to hit and not get hit. They understand how to push themselves through the late rounds and the hard moments and this and that and the other thing. The guy Borland just looked like some dude that he found on Insta. Like, is he a
Yeah.
YouTuber? Is he a YouTuber?
I don't know who he is. I really don't.
Right. And so this is my problem. Jake was not the headlining fight. It was like a co-headline, and then the girl fight, the Serrano fight was
I
going to
didn't
be
see.
amazing.
I
It
didn't
got
see a girl
called off
fight.
because of an eye injury.
Oh,
It
that's
was
why. Okay, that's why I was like, "What are you talking about? Girl fight? I don't remember
Yeah,
that."
yeah. And it was, I mean, Amanda Serrano she's a great champion and she's incredible. And Jake is what he's doing for these young boxers. You have Juana Walton, the kid from Euphoria, made his pro debut.
That's uh I can't think of the
Yes.
word. I can't think of the word, but
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
His name's Juana Walton, I think, right?
I watched
And
Euphoria. Tattoos, kinda.
yeah,
Okay,
and just
young
awesome
guy.
presence. And I think they fought to a draw. But Jake is doing a lot of things to promote boxing, take care of boxers, put women on the front, put women on the top, put women on the headline. He's got boxing for boys, all these great positive things. But that fight was not positive, and it didn't make him look good. Made him look like, to me, in my opinion, and Jake, I love you, dog. But it just made me like I was just let down. I was let down at the moment. I know he's better than that,
Yeah,
and I want to see him rise up to the occasion. Maybe he did it just to stay in shape because there's too many cowards out there that are scared to fight him, and he's just wanted to stay in the ring. Maybe he did it just to bring more press and more eyes to the Serrano fight, which I don't think he doesn't think about that. I think he's a very smart businessman, and I think he
very.
knows how to promote a fight, and I do. But he needs to fight somebody big in his next fight because we're losing viewers at this point, with those
Exactly.
type of
Yeah.
fights.
It's embarrassing. And from my opinion, at least, I don't want to see him fight somebody like that. I want to see him fight whoever's at the top. I want to see how actually good Jake Paul is. Even if he loses, I want to see him fight the best.
Now, here's some hot takes for you. So I'm going to just talk boxing for like another 5 minutes. We're going to move
Yeah.
to the combine. So Ryan Garcia, who is this,
Oh,
he was a big sensation on kind of social media. He got a lot of followers, right? Ryan
really,
Garcia.
really fast punches. And
He has not looked great, in my opinion, in several of the last fights. He's now scheduled to fight the one of the baddest dudes out there, Devin Haney, and he is yapping off. He is showing up to the press conference here in LA on horseback. He's taking a page out of Teofimo Lopez's book, and it's like a circus act every time he comes into the building. Now, that didn't pay off for Teofimo, even though he won the
no.
last fight.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Ryan Garcia is chasing paydays, and so the reason I'm bringing him up is because he's got a huge fight against Devin Haney. Devin Haney is not even debatably one of the greats in boxing. 100%. Ryan Garcia is going to get his lunch ate by Devin Haney. Mark my words, make your bets. I'm not with DAZN. I'm not with Golden Boy. I have no dog in the fight. I just love boxing. That's what's going to happen. And now, as soon as Jake Paul finished that fight, Ryan Garcia called him out. Ryan Garcia is a little tiny fella compared to
Yeah.
Jake
Little
Paul.
skinny dude. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like an Abercrombie model versus Jason Kelsey. Like, it just doesn't
Exactly.
make
Yeah.
sense. Now, Jake, being the guy that he is, being the authentic dude that gets right in the moment, goes right to his Instagram and live FaceTimes Ryan immediately post fight. Like, and Ryan won't even show his face, and they're talking all sorts of trash. But is Ryan Garcia a real boxer like we all want to believe he is? Is he like on the level of an Oscar De La Hoya or a more current fighter like a Lomachenko that's really a technician, that's really fast, that's really going to get in there and show everybody how he boxes? Or is he just trying to hang on to whoever's the star of the moment, like a Jake Paul, like a Devin Haney? Devin Haney's one of the biggest guys in boxing right now. Jake Paul's one of the biggest guys in and outside of boxing right now. Why are you calling out these guys that you're most likely going to get your ass handed to you? Right. Money, money, money. And then what does he do? He says, hey, whoever fights me, it's their biggest payday. And
Yeah.
that might be true because
It's
he's got a
true. He
big
has a huge
social,
following. Yeah.
got a huge following. Those people are going to buy the pay-per-view. They're going to buy the ticket to go to the fight, whatever. But how many fights are they going to watch him get beat up in until, they stop? If Ryan Garcia wants to fight Jake Paul, can I be the announcer? Like, put me on this fight because I would like to. I mean, they need to get me outside this ring because I get a little too hyped for this stuff and I got a lot to say about it. It'd be hot take
Hey,
after hot take.
get
Stephen
me
A.
out
Smith,
there too, bro.
listen,
Oh, he hit him. He hit him.
that's right. That's all we need is your excitement, and then I'll talk technically. It'll be good. All right, let's move on to the combine. I want to just apologize before we move on, real quick. No disrespect to any of the fighters out there. All you guys are doing good work. You're doing hard work. I respect what you do. I've been in a boxing gym. I'm part owner in a boxing gym. I love boxing. I love boxers. I love fighters. I admire you all. So this is just my personal opinion in the moment. I'm not shitting on any of you guys. You guys are all doing a job that I could never do. So good
What
on
he
you.
said.
Moving on to the combine. Take me through the combine. Fastest 40 time. Who's that defensive tackle that ran like lightning? Tell me all the shit.
So, first of all, this is backwards, correct?
That is backwards.
So, in real life, it's actually backwards.
Are you sure?
It's written backwards because I live streamed the entire combine. The entire combine, 18 hours. It was like 18, 20 hours. I was tired, man. I did the entire combine live. Um, but the way it was showing it, it was mirrored. So I was like, okay, how am I going to get people to be able to read this? Let me write it backwards. So I wrote this backwards, but on my screen it looks fine, but I guess it's mirrored again. So whatever.
Yeah,
But
it's still backwards, but let me just say, bravo for you. Who needs college? Just learn how to write backwards.
that's it. That's it. It was very difficult. I'll tell you that, man. I had to like write it out every single letter, like think it backwards.
Did you use your
But
other hand? Maybe if you use your other hand, it would have been easier.
but the NFL Combine itself, it was very entertaining, very entertaining. A lot of good young talent in this year's draft. The biggest thing that happened though was that this man Xavier Worthy wide receiver from Texas, ran the fastest 40 of all time. He broke the
4.29.
record. He broke the record.
A
Uh,
4.29.
no, 4.21.
A
Fast.
4.21.
Yeah, the previous record was a 4.22 held by John Ross and back in 2016, 2015, sometime around then. And he on the first run, Xavier Worthy, the guy who has the record now, ran a 4.25. And he was like, "Damn it, bro. I know I can run faster than that. Let me take my socks off. Let me get rid of some weight. I know I can run faster than that." And he goes back out there, which it's crazy enough to run a 4.25. That's fast. But on your second run, making up 4 hundredths of a second, I believe that is hundredths or tenths. I'm not quite sure, but 4 hundredths of a second and going 4.21 and beating the record. That's crazy. He's also an Olympic runner, though. He used to be a long distance runner.
So
So
in your opinion, breaking that record, what does that do to his draft? Where does
he
it
was
what is that?
he was previously a mid second round pick, probably a early to
Which
mid
is
second round pick.
still
Now,
incredible.
yeah, it's I mean, if you're in the top 60 picks in the draft, I mean, that's not easy.
Yeah.
But now he's probably gonna be a top 20 pick, maybe even top 15. Last time this happened, the guy who it happened to last time, John Ross, who ran a 4.22, he was a pretty terrible prospect, not gonna lie. He didn't really have any stats in college, didn't really do anything good, nothing. But he ran a really fast 40 and was taken in the top 10 because of it. He ended up going into the NFL, didn't really have much of a career, and now he's not even in the NFL anymore. A couple of years later, not a couple, I guess it's 8 years later, whatever. But Xavier Worthy, on the other hand, was great in college. He had 3 seasons of over 1,000 yards, a bunch of touchdowns, was the number one wide receiver at Texas. He's great, so I got to think he's going to be at least a top 15, top 20 pick.
I saw some D tackle, some big boy, big fella, run like a 4.4. And I was like, I I didn't even know what to make of that. At my fastest ever 40 time in my life, I ran a 4.56.
I gotta time it. I'm gonna go outside one of these days and like go in the street and like try to set it up or something. Maybe get dad to time it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you really need like a starting line timer so it doesn't
Yeah,
start until you take that first step, because
exactly. Yeah,
you can't really trust somebody's hand enough to start it. To finish it, you can, but it's better to have like a laser. I'm sure they sell something on Amazon that
yeah.
just
I got to
does it.
figure it out. I haven't ran the 40. I ran the 40 one time when I was like 12 at like a Dolphins camp. They do like a little Dolphins training camp in the summer, like a little summer
Yeah.
camp. I remember running like a 5.2, 5.3, something like that.
And when I was young, they had I want to say it was he played for Minnesota Vikings, but I don't remember. Chris Carter. They had Chris Carter Speed Camp in South Florida that you could like come to and learn like how
So why wouldn't he do it in Minnesota?
I have no idea. Maybe it was a traveling thing. Maybe it was in Minnesota. Maybe this was a different one. I don't know. But anyways, it was a speed camp where you
Yeah,
learn how to
Chris
be
Carter,
faster.
one of the greats. Chris Carter, man, one of the best
Yeah,
Vikings wide receivers ever do it.
that's right. Yeah, icon. All right, what else? Give me some more combine stuff. This is good soup, man. Young
The
fellas,
major
right? These guys are young.
Yeah, these guys are 20, 21 years, same age as me, right around the same age, 21, 22. Some are a little bit older. Some of them redshirt their first year, which means they don't play, so they can play a little bit longer in college and they'll stay till they're 23, 24. But most of them are right around that age.
If you could ask one question to Xavier after he broke the record, what do you say to him? What do you ask that guy? Like if you're on the
Um,
field and you're the reporter on the field, you're for whatever outlet, maybe it's Cobros outlet, Cobros International. You're out there and like Entertainment Tonight gets all the guests after they win their Emmy or their Oscar. They come over to them and they're like, I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. What do you say to a guy that just set the 40-yard dash record and likely in that moment between knocking 4 tenths or 4 100ths or whatever he did, 4 tenths? No,
4.21.
gosh,
4.21. I believe he went from a 4.25 to a 4.21. I think that's hundredths.
that's
I think tenths is the first one, and then
yeah,
hundredths is
that's right. That's right.
thousand.
He went
I
from a
think.
4.25 to a 4.21. Yeah, that's
Over here trying to
hundredths.
figure out time, man.
Um, but what do you say to this guy? Like he comes over, he can't believe it. He likely just raised his value within the NFL and his offer by millions of dollars. Like likely as just a punt returner. If we put him on for nothing but to return punts.
which is actually like what he a major thing of what he does. He's a great wide receiver, but one of the best punt returners in college. This guy gets 30, 40, 50 yards or a touchdown every single time he touches the ball. So,
God, I bet
yeah.
he does. I bet the defending team after they punt the ball just kind of waits where they are for him to run to them because what's the sense? As soon as you run in his direction, he's running past you like a locomotive.
Yeah. I don't even know what you'd ask him though. I was speechless when I saw it, honestly. I was speechless. I saw that happen and I wasn't speechless actually. I was screaming. Everybody on the stream was like, "Oh my god, he just ran a 4.21." And what the lady asked him, what a woman interviewed him immediately afterwards. He's huffing and puffing and she's just like, "How you feel? How you feel? How you feel? You just broke the record. How you feel right now?" And he's
What do you
like,
say?
"Man, this is everything. This is everything. Everything we trained for, everything all the years is what I dreamed of. I went to sleep and I dreamed about this, and I knew that I got the 4.25, and I knew I could do better. I knew I could get the 4.21. I had to go and run it again, which a lot of people don't do. Also, I forgot to even say that a lot of people you get two opportunities to run the 40. And a lot of people will run the first time and they won't run the second because usually most of the time you run slower, and that'll mess up your draft stock a little bit. People want to see the fastest time.
Wow.
And he said, "No, I got to go back out there and run again. I have to do it."
So, NFL scouts that are watching, he is a risk taker, but a risk taker that can deliver on the risk taken. So instead of waving a
Ain't that a
fair
tongue
catch when
twister?
he feels that defender and feels those footsteps rumbling feet from him, he's going to put his hand up a little bit like this, like he's going to go to make the fair catch call, and he's going to just turn it over, scoop it in, and step laterally one side or the other, and he's off to the races. I am a fan. I want a jersey. I'm buying a jersey the second he gets drafted. I
I
mean,
hope
how
the
can we not
Dolphins
love
get
that?
him. I hope the Dolphins get him. The Dolphins, we love just getting these guys that are way too fast. That's like our big thing right now. We got Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, all the four fastest guys in the NFL at the moment. They were clocked the fastest time running on the field. And adding the fastest guy at the combine, it would be pretty much on it would make sense.
I love it. I mean, I love it. I've always admired the fastest dudes out there because they typically are quite small, and to
Yeah,
be
he
quite small in the NFL as a running back, wide receiver, any of these speed positions, a kick returner, it's cool to see a guy at 175 pounds or to 195
less.
pounds play with the big boys. It makes you think you could be in there. Obviously, it's a different
Exactly.
situation, but it makes us relate to the NFL. And I think that's cool to
Yeah.
see an average sized dude outperforming, these beasts of men, these Viking people that are made like these NFL kids that are 20
Jason
years old and they're
Kelsey's.
coming in and the way they look, that is a different species of human. It's its own. I'm in this thing. They're in
They're
this
over
thing.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
We're
this.
not
I
in
don't.
that. That's not us.
That is not. We don't have any of the same DNA. I don't. I
No,
wish I had
none.
one of your genetic codes in me. Just give me
Please,
some.
please. Let me get
Um,
one of those chromosomes.
I mean, for real, like I used to joke when I was young, and this is obviously inappropriate, but I was like, I want to marry and have babies with some sort of female professional athlete so I could give my kid the best,
Hell yeah, man.
the best chance. Obviously, you fall in love and you make
With
babies with whoever
yeah.
you make, but that was the goal back in the day, and I would like to have Xavier's baby. Is that possible?
Hey man, hey,
It's 2024. I don't know
you
what's
never
possible
know.
anymore.
But yeah, that was
All
pretty
right,
wild.
what about quarterbacks? Any quarterbacks that were fun?
So the big thing with the quarterbacks, there's at the top of the draft, the first three picks are going to be quarterbacks. All of them said, "We already know we're going to be the first three picks. We just don't know what order. So we're not even going to participate. We don't
Uh,
care. If we go out there, all we're going to do is probably worsen our draft stock if we make a mistake. We can't get any better. We might as well just not participate." And that's exactly what they did.
that's boring.
It is boring, very boring. And last year, this quarterback for the Texans, CJ Stroud, he was the best, second best QB prospect at the time. And he said, people were like, why are you participating in the combine? Why are you doing this? You don't have to do all that. He's like, I want to. I should. Everybody should. It's like, it's the combine. This is what we dream of when we're little kids to go to the
Right.
NFL combine.
I wonder do you think any of the quarterbacks play it safe so they don't risk injury, like an Achilles injury, a rotator cuff injury, throwing the balls, running that 40 for a quarterback is not something every quarterback isn't Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we don't need every quarterback to try to run like Michael Vick, but it's nice to know for the
right?
draft situation that you're capable, right?
It's just like a lot of quarterbacks don't run the 40. Even if they do participate in the combine and do the throwing drills and throwing to the wide receivers, a lot of quarterbacks don't participate. So I'm fine with them not throwing. I'm not fine with I'm fine with them not running the 40, but at least throw the ball. I want to see if your arm works. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Sit on the sidelines and watch? What? Why?
And
Why are
it
you doing that?
and it kind of like it kind of stinks a little bit to like not, it's like you went to the dance party and you're just gonna hang out and look hot on the side. Like go, you got to dance if you're at the
Exactly. Why?
dance
I don't want
party.
to. Hell yeah, I want to see you dance. And they're not feeling that way. All of these guys sat out, and then they're asking them questions and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, I can't answer that. Yeah, I can't answer that. Yeah, no, I'm not answering that." It's like, why'd you show up?
No press training. They need to give these young fellas some press training. Guys, here's your press training from a guy who's been in Hollywood for 20 years and has failed at many jobs and succeeded at many jobs on all levels, from feature films to TV to hosting to sitcoms to podcasting to whatever. Be authentic and engaging. Be engaging. Even if you don't want to answer the question, kill them with some kindness. Let them know something about your mom and her baking. Let them know how hard you and your dad work to be here. Let them know
Exactly.
how much of an inspiration your little sister is, and that's why you get out of bed every day. Be engaging, guys. A
Be
large
authentic.
a large part of being a successful NFL player is being able to be okay in front of the cameras. Um, Look at our Patrick Mahomes, look at our Kelsey brothers, look at these guys. They're very comfortable in front of a
Huge.
camera. Take notes, fellas. It's not just a game anymore. This is a broadcast entertainment situation. ESPN and the NFL and all these other sports outlets depend on you to have a glowing personality to back up your exceptional on the field skills. So let's effing go, guys. You
Yeah.
want me to coach you? I'll give you some coaching. Just call me up. We'll go over your pre and post game monologues. We'll get you dialed in. I'll tell you where to put the emphasis. You'll be just fine.
You
But
got
if
you.
nothing, but if nothing else, compliment the person asking the questions. You don't want to ask a question, say, you know what? I can't even focus because you look so great in that dress, or I love your suit and tie. Where'd you get that from? And flip it on them and start asking them questions. No reporter knows what to do with it, and they love that you're authentically in the moment. So, anyways, there's
Yeah.
my piece about that. What
In
else at the
defense
combine?
in
Anything
defense
else?
of the players though, in that like situation, in defense of them, some of these reporters be asking wild questions that like outrageous questions. I
Oh,
think one
yeah.
of them asked the number one pick right now in the draft is Caleb Williams. He's like the number one guy. He's a quarterback, great quarterback, went to USC out in California. And what did they ask him? They asked him like, "Do you know about this crazy trade rumor about you going to this team and them trading up to this pick and doing this for you because you're you and this and that?" They ask him like wild questions, some of them that they don't have an answer to. So I
And then
understand it.
this is what you do. Players, I'm on your side for this. I've been on a lot of convention stages where I didn't want to answer the question that was asked to me. You got to flip it right on them right there, right away. And whatever they ask you, even if you don't even understand it, oh, yeah, you know what? What's your take on that? What do you think would happen to me if I did that? What's your opinion on them trading up or trading down? What do you think? And then they're going to go, but I think
Yeah,
this and that. And you go, you
throw it
know
back
what?
on them.
Let's see. Only time will tell what's going to happen. Let's see how it's going to unfold. Make them guess. Be a little mysterious. It's good for TV, guys. It's really good. And
Makes good content.
yeah, and put a period on it, right? I always say don't go on and on and on, which I often do in a podcast, but in an interview, have a period ready. I tell this to actors too all the time. Like my time at Entertainment Tonight, many famous people think, oh, let's just talky, talky, talk. People want to hear my voice, talky, talky, talk. But what's going to make the content? And when I mean content, I don't just mean podcast content, TikTok, Instagram, X, or whatever. I mean, what's going to make the content on the highlight reel on ESPN or a show, an entertainment news show, is the one sentence that you said that was outrageous or
Yeah,
entertaining, right? So
that's it.
say the thing and say, you know
Flip
what?
it.
I just want to thank my beautiful family because I woke up this morning and ate waffles with syrup.
Clip.
Clip, and it's going viral, baby.
That's
I mean,
it.
that's all it takes. Or like you're standing in the moment and And they say something, and you say one lyric from a song, right? And just say, just don't stop believing. Just say a
That's it.
thing.
That's it. With that look. With
Just give them a weird face because everybody's going to make a meme out of you. And listen, memes
hey,
make dollars and cents at this
yeah,
point.
man. Hey, memes are cool. Hey, you make some memes out of me, please.
Um, did the Daytona 500 ever happen?
It did. It did.
Nobody
I don't
watched it
remember
because
who
it was on like
won.
a Tuesday or something,
Yeah,
right?
it was on a Tuesday in the middle of the afternoon, like 2, 3 in the afternoon. It
The only
was
thing we know about the Daytona 500, the only thing that we know when you rain check a Daytona 500, the only thing that sticks with me from the Daytona 500 is DJ Khaled and the Wendy's Biggie
that's
Bag.
it. That's it. That's
That's
it.
it,
That's it.
man.
Maybe a little pit bull. Maybe a little pit bull too.
Of course, a little
And the
pit
rock.
bull. And The Rock. I mean, I don't know that there was even race cars that day. I just know The Rock was there. He was looking swell and swollen, and DJ Khaled was looking right. And he gets out of the car, and he's got two Drake tracks. Unless you all haven't heard, he's got two Drake tracks on his new album, and he's got the Biggie Bag. And I'm a guy that is on
Big bag.
60. How many days? I'm on like 64 days of this health thing that I'm trying to do. Be great, eat right, do the right thing, live the right life. And when I see DJ Khaled, I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip this. DJ Khaled, I want to come work for you. I want to come to you and I want to be your biggie bag, your Wendy's biggie bag tester. I want to see what it's like if I get a French fry out of a biggie bag, dip it in the chocolate
Oh,
frosty. I want to make that for you. Let's do that together. DJ Khaled, God, dude. I
we the
just
best.
Bro, I love me some DJ Khaled energy. He comes up with more catchy phrases. Fan love. He's got fan love going
It's
on.
just he just says like random like he'll just be like looking at you and just say something random. Like he did a Gatorade.
He is jolly. You know what? He's enjoying his life, and we should all take note. DJ Khaled, we love you on this
He's
podcast, man.
baller.
We are full support of the Snipe store and everything else you're doing out there, cousin. You are killing it. Um,
Baller.
so do we know who won the Daytona 500? Yeah, all right, we'll move on.
Somebody.
What else
Somebody
do we?
won it. Somebody won it.
Well,
They're a couple races in already. They're like they just did Las Vegas this weekend, I think.
yeah, well, was The Rock or DJ Khaled there?
Somebody important was there. I don't remember who. Somebody.
They must have not had a biggie bag, or we would
No, they
remember.
didn't. Dude, give me a
Um,
frosty and a French fry right now. Whew.
oh, bro, when me and you get up, when I get back from this little job, you and I are gonna figure out this Austin trip right away, and we're gonna shoot down, and we're not gonna prepare. We're gonna go. We're gonna get our feet on the streets, and we're gonna get some Frosties and some Wendy's and some
Ooh,
barbecue and some
ooh.
comedy clubs, and then guess what? I just
What?
my podcast I did last week with my longtime friend who actually you met, Noah. So Noah is the guy who trained Carly several times in dancing when she came out here at Millennium
Ah,
Dance Studio. Noah
gotcha.
is like jacked. He's like white guy, tattoos all over. Looks like, yeah,
Okay.
beard. Looks like he will beat your ass in an alley, but
Yeah.
he's one of the greatest, most authentic, just one of the best people on earth. So we talked this week. He's helping a bunch of men through their marriages. He's just really kind of become a self-help guru, and not by choice because life led him to helping dudes, and he's like, all right, I guess this is what I'm doing now. So he's barely even dancing. But what I'm trying to get to, he's in Vegas. I told him I'm coming to Vegas to stay at his house with you. For your first trip to
Oh,
Vegas, we're going to go stay with Noah and his son, who's like 5 or 6, and his beautiful wife. We're going to work out. We're going to hit the strip. We're going to go to the dance club. We're going to go to Mayweather's. We're going to do all of the
oh,
things. And
hell
Noah
yeah.
has all of the connections. We're going to
Let's
do it
go.
under the supervision of one of the best dudes ever. And him and his family are dominating Vegas. So that'll be our
Sick.
second trip. It's Austin and
Sick.
Vegas as soon as we can do it when I get back.
Sick. I can't
And
wait.
all of my buddies in the past 2 weeks have gone to see the U2 concert at the thing at the Dome, and they're like, all of them are like, I can't, so amazing. I can't tell you what it was
Dude,
like.
it looks so cool. It
They
looks
all
awesome.
cry. Everybody I know that went to see the thing, everybody cries because it's so moving. And I'm like, me and my bro are doing it. We're gonna be
You'll
the
probably also cry just because you got so many damn screens in there, dude. There's so much just
your
like,
eyes are just burning. You're just like,
yeah,
my
dude.
retinas.
They've definitely. Have you heard the thing about people falling backwards?
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's
That's
awesome.
me.
It's
That's
awesome,
me.
bro. I want to fall down. That's sick.
I'm bringing a walker just in case with some tennis balls on the bottom. I'm be prepared. I'm gonna be
A
your old.
cane.
We
That's
have to
hilarious.
get that done. That is,
Yeah,
you're of age. I'm taking you. I don't need anybody else but me and you and
that
some
sounds great.
cameras with us and a couple of mics.
That's all.
Shout out to your new mic. What's your new mic? Because I'm gonna get the same one. Yeah, that's
The
where we're going. Shout out to
Rode
Rode. Rode is
Rode
delivering
Wireless.
wireless Bluetooth. Obviously, shout out to Shure because these mics are
They're the
incredible.
best. They're so good.
Um, but on the road, we need two of those, and we need a couple of iPhone Pros with some little bit of setup, and we're gonna go film some stuff. And I don't know, man. I got a boxing show sitting on the floor right here that's unedited on 8 terabyte hard drive. I got 6 hours of
Oh,
a Trinity boxing documentary that people are gonna lose their mind to, where mental health meets boxing wealth and physical well-being and the balance between the two. It's going to be incredible. But that's just on top of
sounds
the
awesome.
list of stuff that you and I are filming. We got a lot going on this year, and I'm excited
Always.
to get into it, man. What
The more
else?
the merrier. The more the merrier.
We've been riffing for like an hour. What else do we need to cover before we hop off and go eat some food? Got anything
What else
on
big is happening in the world?
you?
I don't know.
Presidential election is coming up.
What you got?
We're we're not
My
talking
first
about
year vote. I'm gonna.
politics.
Hey man, I don't know who I'm voting for, but it's my first year voting. I don't know.
Oh boy. Well, in my opinion, most of your choices suck, and I'd love it to be a vast variety of different choices of diverse different folks, but it's not. It's the same irritating people.
Yeah,
Let it
someone gonna
be. I
get
don't
it.
even want to go there.
You got to vote though. You got
We
to vote.
got absolutely.
You can't
Listen,
complain
man.
about it if you don't vote.
That's 100% right. Hey, spoken like a seasoned and wisdom fueled older person coming out of a younger person. I love to hear that. You do have to vote, and voting is important, and it's your right to do it. And whether you believe in voting corruption or not corruption, or you don't like this president or that president, it's our only hope is to get our asses to the thing and do it. You can vote from
Yep.
home, you can vote at the booth, however, but make sure you vote.
And that way you can complain about it afterwards.
Right? And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Breaking news. No matter who you pick, no matter who you vote for, you can have a conversation and a debate afterwards with a person that voted with somebody else. You'll
Ain't
be
that a
okay still being friends. You can share a beer. You can skip rope. You can double dutch. You can play hopscotch. You can roast marshmallows together, even if you voted for different. Just had to say that. I had to get
ain't
that
that a
PSA
crazy
out there.
concept? Ain't that just a wild concept?
Isn't it crazy that you can kind of hate one presidential candidate and hate the other one? It
Hey,
not, we don't have to hate each other.
George Washington said it best, man,
Who
years and
said?
years and years ago. He said, political parties are going to be the thing that tears this country apart. He said we should not have political parties because people are going to pick sides and people aren't going to be okay with one side and people aren't going to be okay with the other side. But no, we didn't decide to listen to the first president. We decided to go do our own thing.
Yeah, and now we're pissed off at each other, and nobody's playing double dutch, and nobody's doing hopscotch, and nobody's cheersing their beers because one's blue and one's red, and we can't possibly get along.
Silly.
Baloney,
Silly.
baloney, hate it all, and baloney's delicious, by the way. So if
Eh,
everybody, it's not great for you probably, but it's
I haven't
good.
had bologna in a long time. Used to have a lot of bologna sandwiches. A little bologna, a little mayonnaise,
That's
some
how
Wonder
dad
Bread.
raised. Listen,
Some
man,
Wonder
that's
Bread.
yeah, bro. Mine was Wonder Bread, and then my dad would take a bologna and he would fry it up in the pan till
Oh.
it curled up and it looked like kind of like an upside down dome. Then he put a piece of cheese on it, put that on a piece of bread, and oh my gosh,
Ooh.
that was living in luxury back then.
Ooh. That sounds, well, I mean, I don't know if that sounds great, but
Hey, bologna, reach out to your boys, the Cobros. We're gonna get you on some Oscar Mayer organic,
and the little,
less.
it's got all the juice in it and everything, you know,
Let's
you rip up.
let's recreate and reinvent baloney. Can we be those guys? What happened to baloney?
Organic bologna. We could there's definitely organic bologna out there.
Yeah, we should be the face of organic baloney. Just
Just
imagine,
just both of us, just organic
just a couple of
bologna.
guys. Oh,
We
yes.
back. We back.
We should never do a podcast without those reactions on ever again.
They're awesome. They're sick.
I don't know if that's on my computer or your computer. Does that come from me?
It's I don't know. It was on the screen though. It was cool.
It doesn't matter. All right, I think we're wrapping this up. I think we've come to a conclusion of some sort, or probably not, but that's why we're going to continue this. We are probably going to be a week away from our next podcast, but stay tuned. I'm going to have some footage coming in from Australia, and then Tico Fantasy Show and I will be back together, I would say Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and we'll be here to shed some light on all of the world's situation. All right, people, I'm MC on the mic, and that's
The Tico Fantasy Show. Also, you can find me on Twitch. We're going to be streaming a lot live. We're there.
I might even start a Twitch handle just so I can get on there and get some gaming going. What are you playing on Twitch?
I don't know. I'm just talking to people, honestly. I just sit there and just talk to people live. They ask me questions, I answer them.
I love that. Listen, I love it.
Try to play some
All right,
games
people.
too.
We're out of here. We're going to download Twitch and figure out what's next going on in the world. And guess what? Republicans and Democrats, I love you all, and so
We love
can you. We're all friends here.
Mwah.
Peace, everybody.